The Saudis are also undercutting the Southern Transitional Council simply because the Saudis are playing their own game with the Emiratis. Now, back during the initial fight, there was a division of labor between Riyadh and Abu Dhabi. Riyadh was taking on the Houthis, and Abu Dhabi was taking on Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula. Frankly, the Emirati forces did a much better job. And we see this because there's no Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, in Aden, or in Mukalla, and even the area around Wadi Umran, which I drove right past, is under control. Not only that, the Emiratis have built infrastructure. And when I went to Atak, for example, I saw the new solar energy farm, which is about to come online, the refurbished airport, the new hospital, and so forth. Unfortunately, when we look at what Saudi Arabia has achieved, they've achieved nothing. We see this because the Houthis are still in power, and they've left no meaningful infrastructure behind. And so rather than the Saudis taking responsibility and saying, we need to do better, what the Saudis are trying to do is undercut the Emiratis. Not much different than what we see going on in Sudan. And it's up for the Yemenis to stand up and say, enough, Riyadh. We don't want you to turn us into Sudan. South Yemen has a fundamentally different culture. When we look at tribalism, the tribes in southern Lebanon are related to what we have in the United Arab Emirates and also in Qatar. The Yafai, for example, are the second largest tribe in Qatar. And of course, they're also paramount in southern Yemen. Now, the other thing the Saudis are doing is basically because the United States, if I can be blunt, betrayed the Saudis under the Biden administration by delisting the Houthis as a terrorist entity, and also by unfairly criticizing Saudi Arabia, the Saudis have decided that rather than defeat the Houthis, they're going to cut a deal with them, much like they cut a deal with Iran. And the Saudis basically are allowing the Houthis to act in any way they want, so long as they don't attack Saudi Arabia. What I'm saying in a very long-winded way is the United States needs to stand up and say, not that we too are going to cut a separate deal, but that we are going to work to resolve the problem in Yemen, and that we recognize the faults of our past.